Okay guys, I just want to run through some basics of using Flex. So the first thing, we're at the home page here. Someone's asked me how to remove these black borders. I'm pretty sure I covered this in the manual, but we'll go through it again. If you don't want the black borders and you want them some other colour, you just set it to the colour that you want, or to the background of your content container, which is this area here. If you don't want it to show at all. So the background here is white. So if I didn't want those black lines to show up, then I would just go into my content container tab and scroll down to where it says border background, and white is F's. Save the changes. Now if I go back to my test site homepage, we'll see that the black borders have gone, and now that is just all white because they've been matched to the page colour. Okay, now with your sidebars, you've got your heading tags here and your smaller navigation tags down here. These are all adjusted from the sidebars tab in the theme options, and they're based on the size that you choose. So if you choose, for example, a very small sidebar width, like 150 wide, but yet you have this set to a large pixel type font, then naturally they're not going to all line up. So you need to make sure that what's appropriate for the size that you've chosen is going to look good on your pages. So let's go into the options for the sidebars, and I'll give you an example. So if I was going to have the smaller sidebar, which is sidebar 1, the one on the left, and I wanted it to have a really big heading, say a H4 heading, and I wanted all the links under them to be like 14 wide and red, just choose that and save it, then it's not going to look any good on that sidebar width. Now if we go to the home page, you can see how inappropriate choosing such a big font would be for the titles that I've chosen there. It just doesn't look any good, and it drags out the sidebar. Whereas on the bigger sidebar that I have on the home page, the one that's 210 for memory, it looks fine because it's in a adjustable width to it. So on the 210 that would be appropriate, but not when you're using a smaller sidebar. And the best way to find out what will look good with the way you want to have your site is, of course, just play around in the back end and test things out and have a look at them. So before, that actually looked quite good when it was 11 pixels. So let's go back and change it to 11 again and save the changes. And we'll go to our test site and have a look. And you can see at 11 it looks much more appropriate, and it's all lined up because it's not being squeezed out of the sidebar container. So just bear that in mind when you're choosing your font sizes, etc. And of course, if you don't like anything, you just go back to the sidebars tab and just change it to whatever you want. So for example, if we went again with a... Now the other thing that you should remember is that there is a README file, oops, that's my eBay auction, coming up in the theme that sets out a little bit more information for you about how to use inserting videos, etc. in the sidebars. Also with the in-house ads, they're set up just to display on a 350 pixel wide sidebar base. So you need to have at least 350 pixels total between your sidebar 1 and 2 in order to display your in-house ads. And that 350 needs to be made up of images that actually total 350. So it could be 2 images of 150 so that's 300, so it's less than 350, or 3 images that are a third, or anything that's either less than 150 or less than 350, but not more than that. Okay, and you just paste in for your in-house ads, you just paste in the size of the image and your URL for it in the 3 boxes provided. So if you were just using 2 images that were 150 wide, then you would just be using these first 2 boxes. If